played today. 2 close ones and 2 blowouts. St Kilda by 8 points in a surprisingly close match at Moorabbin. West Coast surprisingly by 75 points. Not the fact they won, but the margin against Essendon at the MCG. In the upset of the round, Richmond by 3 points over Carlton at Waverley Park. And on Friday night, Adelaide won by plenty. 67 points over a hapless Sydney Swans at Football Park. The ladder and the changes here. Fitzroy back into the 6. But when you look at that ladder, the top 5 are looking secure. You'd expect those top 5 teams to play in the major round, even though there are some very important matches coming up in the next few weeks. And it looks as if Carlton may be blowing their chance. They're just out of the 6 at the moment. Hawthorn and Richmond has moved up to 11th, which is their highest position so far this season. As we go and have a look at some highlights from the matches to date, within the players and the supporters. Wanganeen played terrifically well, but he copped a hard one from Harding. But he's been a big success, the boy who turned 19 last week. Here's Sumic, 11 goals, 8 as we said. He's only kicked 31 goals so far this season, but he's only played half the matches. 111 goals last year, and well, he looks to be on his way. And if Sumic can continue in his form, West Coast are going to be open the door for Hawthorn. Nicky Winmar, who's our special guest today, the wizard with the handball there to kick it. He's also a bit of a wizard around the goals. This is a terrific goal by Stevens. Excellent take. Left foot goal. And North Melbourne continued to irritate St Kilda yesterday. They kept hanging in there. Probably should have been well in front up to half-time. Magnificent mark by Lockett. Well, Michael Martin said he was waiting for Tony in the press. I'm not sure if he was correctly quoted. Well, Tony kicked 7 on him and then Michael was shifted. So you've got to say Michael won the game. What about this? What about the little boy that goes down there? I'm not sure what number he had. Look at the little fella. It's not Danny Craven, I know that. He's... Have a look at him. Oh. Anyway, he's recovered pretty well. That was a hard one on Bowie. Now, Spargo played pretty well. He kicked 4 goals. Had a terrific duel with Fletcher in the centre. And these late goals kept North Melbourne in the match, but they were too good, St Kilda. Lockett was very good. He's having a tremendous year. He kicked 85 goals, and he broke Bill Moore's goal-kicking record yesterday. He's kicked 742 goals. Moore had kicked 736. That record had stood since 1941. Kickett getting the goal, Lockett setting it up. The Saints sailing home in the end, but not by a lot, by 8 points. Only report actually came out of that match. Wayne Carey, you remember he was reported and suspended in the match against West Coast a few weeks ago. Well, he's up for allegedly striking Russell Morris in the 3rd quarter. As we take a look at the Interstate headlines, well, they'll be crowing about Sumic and why not over to get rid of another club.
It's caused a little bit of a trauma this morning amongst the commissioners. Now, they believe it might be a little bit of campaigning by the St Kilda Football Club to get the move to Waverley rolling. There's no such suggestion in their blueprint about a club disappearing from the competition. They pointed out this morning that next year we could see next year or the year after, another side from West Australia. Then that'll bring it up to 16, then a second side from South Australia. Who's to say that in the long run, one of the northern sides might, Brisbane or Sydney might disappear, bringing it back to 16, so that'd be the competition. There's no real plan to get rid of any sides in the competition at this moment, Bruce.
Well, the team they played yesterday is also in the news this morning. Neil Roberts, the Brownlow medalist, has written an article saying that Tim Watson and Ron Barassi could be both very heavily involved at North Melbourne. Tim in the capacity as coach, and Ron, chairman of selectors or
chairman
something?
Of selectors. They're jumping up and down about the story too at North Melbourne. I spoke to Ron Casey, the chairman, just a few minutes ago, and he said that very, very premature. He said outrageous thinking to at this stage, but he said no, nothing has been done. But you know, obviously plans are looking. North are looking at plans for 1993 and beyond, and who knows, Mr. Barassi or Mr. Aylett or Mr. Ron Joseph may be included.
Well, Tim's here today and so is Ron, so we'll ask them that because they're both honest men.
They'll deny it, of course.
They'll give us an honest answer. Chris Langford now, his wife Eleanor's expecting a baby. Is Chris on the plane
Chris
playing
is on
Brisbane?
the plane. On the, I think it's a 9:45 plane to the Gold Coast. Eleanor's in bed, resting at the moment.
Good.
Quite comfortable.
OK, good luck to the Langfords. Now, what about Gary Lyon? Has he got any hope of playing in the interstate match? Because he's making a comeback today. I
believe that if Gary Lyon plays a good game against Fitzroy at the MCG today, Monday night could see him re-included into the States squad.
Well, I know they take a lot of notice of you, Scotty, because you've helped pick the team throughout the year. Now, what about Richard Osborne? Do you think the state selectors believe they owe him something? He's come out in the paper and said, well, I should be picked.
The chairman of selectors, was, Teddy Whitten, was very hostile over the headlines at the weekend. He said, we owe no player anything. He said, if they're picked, they're picked. And he said that when we named the squad, we didn't know whether Osborne was going to play. We probably thought he was still injured. He's got a few weeks to put his act together. If we consider it worthwhile, we'll pick him. But we owe nobody nothing, says Teddy.
Said it that loudly.
They did too.
Oh, I bet you do, Scotty. Scotty, keep punching. You're off to Barcelona shortly, but you're still with us next week, right?
Yeah, sure, Bruce.
OK. Keep punching, Scotty.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks for all that, and we're looking forward to seeing whether Gary Ablett takes his place today. We'll take a break. We'll be asking Tim Watson and Ron Barassi those questions and joining the other panel members after this.
Going down purely and simply as a spectator.
Do you think Footscray will get plenty of support down there? I'm just thinking if this game should have been transferred, Bob. Do you think the Footscray supporters will get down there en masse and support them against Geelong?
I don't think it'll be a lockout, Bruce. Let me put it that way.
Fair enough. Ron, how are you?
Very good,
Two
Brucey.
questions. Firstly, Graham Corns' attack on Hawthorn this week and the fact that the 3 players weren't allowed to go and train in Adelaide for the State of Origin. Your thoughts on that as a Victorian selector?
Well, I think all clubs should try wherever they can to help out state people, whichever state it may be. But comparing the ability of the Hawthorn players to come to Victorian state training as with South Australia, there is a bit of a difference. It's a 1,000-mile trip, for example, and that may have come into it. If there wasn't anything like that, I think Hawthorn should have let them go. If they let the Victorian players go, they should let the state side go.
And Scotty's been telling me you've been dining with Ron Joseph a lot of late. I know you're good friends. Is there any truth that you have an interest in North
They've got it all
Melbourne?
wrong. It's I'm the coach and Tim's the chairman of selectors.
Oh, is that how it's
Yes.
working out? Are you interested, Ron, in North Melbourne?
I think I just love North Melbourne. They're absolutely fantastic, and I'm really doing it hard.
Do
at
you
the
love
moment.
them more than Melbourne, Ron?
I'm doing it very hard at the
Do you
moment.
love them more than Melbourne, Ron?
Like any supporter,
Do you love them more than Melbourne, Ron?
I had the
There's
best
an echo,
time,
Ron.
the best time in my adult football life at North Melbourne, and they were fantastic to me and for me.
Well, the simple question, if there was a job there for you, would
I'm
you
not
take
interested in
it?
coaching, no.
No. Are you interested in being involved as a chairman of selectors at that club?
I would doubt very much. I've got a big project on at the moment. I just don't think I'd have the time, and the person who takes that job on will have to devote a heck of a lot of time.
OK, you've answered that honestly. Peter McKenna, can I skip you for a second? I want to ask Tim, because whilst
Yeah,
I'm
no
on...
worries.
Tim, are you interested in coaching?
No, I'm not. And I haven't been approached by North Melbourne, and I'm not looking at coaching as an option in the short-term future.
OK, we've answered it honestly. So that answers the question
See it
that
all
was
on Channel 7, don't you?
raised this morning. Let's go back to Peter. Welcome, Peter. Peter...
Hello, Bruce. Are
Sorry.
you interested in coaching, Peter?
I've already gone through a few clubs, Bob, as you know, but don't know
You
them.
had 37 clubs, Peter, as a player.
Peter, Sydney, would you like to take them on after what you saw on Friday night?
Well, Sydney did the Interstate cause no good whatsoever on Friday night, Bruce, and I thought it was an insipid performance. Adelaide without their forwards, Modra, Hodges, Jamieson and Klug, and Sydney's effort. And I just hope that there aren't half a dozen players in that Sydney side that are looking
To
to the
defeat.
future and maybe coming to Melbourne clubs, because if that's the case, that's the end of the Sydney Swans. And the way they played on Friday night suggested that is the case.
OK, that's fair enough. Robbo, welcome to the panel. You were at Moorabbin yesterday.
No.
Correction, you were at the MCG yesterday. You saw Peter Sumich kick 11-8 and saw West Coast hammer Essendon to 75 points. Comparing where they were last year, on top of the ladder with probably one defeat at this time, and that was by Carlton at Princess Park, are they going as well this year, do you think? At this very minute, have they got to the point now where they've accelerated and they're at the position they were in last year?
Well, I think their season is just getting together quite nicely, Bruce, from that point of view. A few of their players that have had interrupted seasons are starting to find a bit of form, and I think Sumich is a prime example. Lewis is another one. Turley is another one. And I think that Mick Malthouse would feel fairly confident in about the next 6 or 8 weeks.
OK, and on the other hand, there must be a question mark surrounding Essendon now, but we'll talk about that in a moment because Nicky Winmar's joined us, the Wizard of Moorabbin, our special guest today. Welcome, Nicky. Nicky, the first question, on paper, it looked not such a great performance by St Kilda yesterday, even though they won. I was just wondering, is it difficult to build up for each week and each game in the same manner? Because St Kilda in the past have prepared very well for major games, have come out running, so to speak, and got the first couple of goals. Yesterday you appeared to be jumped and appeared to be almost lethargic for a lot of the match.
Well, yesterday, before the game, Ken Sheldon warned us about North Melbourne and that they would come out strong, and you know, we were mentally prepared for it. And,
Did you feel the same in the room? I know you were coming back after a week off yourself. Did you feel the atmosphere was the same in the room going out there?
It was. The boys were really pumped up for it, and I sort of was in my own little corner because my first game back from last week against Richmond, and I was really really nervous, and I wanted to play a good game, and you know, the boys were really fired up before the game started, but we knew that North Melbourne would come out and fired up, and they did prove that.
Well, you succeeded personally in playing a good game. Tim Watson, Tim, can you give us the votes and then throw a question at Nicky?
Well, I gave 3 votes to Alex Sashenko for a tireless performance in the ruck. He really was a fantastic contributor all day. He played well against the Bears last Friday night and he continued on this week. 2 votes to Tony Lockett for 9 goals, and Adrian Fletcher I gave 1 vote to for a performance of picking up a lot of possessions around the packs. Now, this was a good contest. I think St Kilda probably went out there expecting to win, and North Melbourne played the best brand of football I've seen them play all season. There was a crosswind which made it a little bit difficult for the players to control the ball, but North really did give it all their best shot, and you know, their tackling and their harassment was fantastic. The Shenko, as I said before, was excellent in the ruck, and St Kilda tried Bingham starting off against him in the centre bounces, with Flanagan dropping back into the hole, probably to stop the ball coming down the field and to block off the lead to Longmire, but I didn't know that this worked that well, and when Ashenko was supposed to go, the big fella Flanagan was supposed to pick up Ashenko after the centre bounce, and Ashenko got a lot of possessions in the centre of the ground unattended, and Bingham went back to centre half forward, but those players were off the ground at different times yesterday. The other players for North Melbourne who picked up their game yesterday, Scholl was a very good player, as he's been probably for most of the season, but the other guy, Ben Buckley, came back into the side and was a very good player. Nicky Winmar, who I'll ask in a moment a question about perhaps his role yesterday. Nicky, were you playing as a ruck-type rover in the back line, or were you instructed to pick up Crocker? You're sort of a long way apart at different times of the game.
No, I was named at half-back flank, and that's where, you know, I had to play in.
So is Ken Sheldon's instruction for you to just go and win the ball, or is it sort of more or less to play as a backman, stopping your opponent?
Like, to win the ball, he's sort of looking for some run off the back line, so you've put me in the half-back flank.
So it's more or less to pick up possessions and create some run out of the back line.
Mm-hmm. Nicky, sometimes an incident outside of the club football life can throw players. Was the Craig O'Brien incident mentioned by the coach at any side, keeping mind on the job, or?
No, nothing has been said in the club about that incident, no.
Nick, would you like Ken to come and, if you were unfortunate to go over to the boundary line, you know, would you like Kenny to come and say something to you, or is he one of those fellas?
Ken doesn't say anything to me. I know that I'm doing all right, so
I see.
Just like to
it's
leave
like
it like
that. If he does say something to you,
yeah, then
you're in a spot of bother.
Yeah.
You're on the half-back flank when Tim was talking to you. Are you a sweeper half-back flanker or a minder half-back flanker?
At the moment, a sweeper, and
A sweeper.
maybe later on it'll
Be a minder. Good on you, Nicky.
Nicky, you've got a lot of champion players in the team, but a couple of your unheralded players impressed me. Nathan Burke and Jamie Shanahan. Like, I didn't think he was going to make it a couple of years ago, but he's really come of age.
Jamie has really picked up pre-season. He's done really tough and hard, and he's a good player. And Kenny gives him a job on these smaller rover type players, and he does really well on him. And,
Nathan Burke.
Nathan Burke, he's he's a true champion, and playing on the wing it suits him very well. And the pockets that he's been playing in, the back pockets and in the forward line.
Didn't you see the state match, Peter?
I know, but he's not regarded as a Lockett
He was one
or
of our better players.
I love him as a player, but he's not regarded as a Lockett or a Lowe or a
Well, who
Winmar, is he?
Can I,
I'm trying to give the bloke a rap
I
run.
hope you are, because he deserves it.
can I ask you a question about the height factor of St Kilda? The last couple of years, you had a terrific worker in Paul Harding, but now you've got 2 very tall players, Flanagan and Bingham. Do you feel that that's a great acquisition for the club, those 2 players?
Bingham starts in the ruck type work, and he's really goes to centre forward. He's really good for his height. And Flanners, he does the taps around the boundary line. He's he's working very well there. He's one of the I think he's one of the best ruckmen around the ground for the tap outs and for the boundary.
Can that be the difference between St Kilda going just a little step further this year than last year, do you think?
It will be a big difference.
Nicky, being a player in the back line at the moment, coming down the field with the ball, Lowe is positioning himself deeper into the forward line, almost alongside Lockett for a lot of the game. Would you prefer him as a player to be able to have him to kick the ball too when you come out of the back line? Because really at the moment, you're aiming the ball towards Bingham.
Well, yesterday we had a bit of trouble with that. Stewie was a bit too far back, and Ken sort of brought him up again a bit, and we'd like to see Lowe get centre forward for the run off the back line, because he's a real good grab and takes a real strong mark. But the reason that he's playing back there, because if Lockett's back there by himself, they'll drop a ruckman back in the middle to stop his lead. So.
Nicky, I noticed Tony Lockett is a magnificent kick. He was even taking an extra 20 seconds over every shot for goal yesterday. Now, has Peter Hudson been working with him as well? Because he's kicking a la Stuart Lowe, taking that mark on the ground and really taking his time.
Well, you remember Tony a couple of weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, when he was missing those goals in front. Peter has been working on helping Tony with his goal kicking. And like Timmy Watson said, the win was very difficult to kick goals there, so I think North Melbourne kicked 5 points before they even scored a goal, I think. So, so yeah. it was he's taking his time to really...
It's very professional anyway, even for a champion like Lockett to, be taking so much time over his kicking. I reckon that was a good lesson for young kids.
And Nicky, you were very fiery in your younger days. Has this change come gradually through becoming older, or have you really made a strong effort to keep your cool, so to speak?
Just to keep my cool as I play. Like a lot of players out there don't niggle with me or anything, so it's really good. As I do get older, I do want to be stronger and really play well and finish like I started well and finish off well.
Well, St Kilda need you there all the time, so it's a beauty.
How do you see your future, Nicky? I mean, we want to stay here in Victoria for 10 years. You're such an exciting player. Do you see yourself finishing back in the West?
No, I'll stay on Victoria and I'll be at St Kilda as long as they want me there.
Nicky, congratulations on your personal game yesterday and on your career, and good luck. I think there are a lot of people out there hoping the Saints go all the way this year.
Thanks, man.
You're a credit to the game, and I don't think I've seen Bobby Davis's eyes sparkle so much when he's interviewed anyone. It's the first time I've ever heard him use a terminology that we used in the 90s, like sweepers and minders. Gee, you brought out the best in him today.
American
exactly.
Things, and he was knocking it before. It's all right to use it yourself.
They're not the American term. David Parkin, I thought he introduced those. Did he steal them from America? I thought they were, sort of things that have come out of his mind or out of his computer or something. But just to see Nicky Winmar play is a sheer delight. And there should be more of them.
Well,
thanks, Bob.
Good on you, Nicky.
There is. There's Gilbert McAdam.
I just mean football. I don't mean...
They're fantastic.
We better go, boys. Thanks, Nicky, for your time. We'll take a break. Back with Essendon West Coast after this. Essendon game gave Salmon, who kicked 9 goals in that match, 3, Jarman 2 and Buick 1. So 6 days is a long time in footy because Salmon and Buick didn't quite fire as well yesterday. Now, progressive votes, Atkins leads and he's playing today. Lowe is 3 points behind, and then Darren Jarman, who also plays today, and Scott Wine playing today. So they're the leaders. Gary Ablett, we hope, is playing. Kemp having a very good year, and so is Dunstall. OK, in just a moment, Ron and Peter to do the Mitsubishi Marks of the Week.
The Mark of the Week.
Yes, a terrific mark. Standard stuff, I guess, though.
And Robert Scott, this is a good mark. 3 bites of the cherry, but he kept his eyes on it.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. So almost, he's against the flight almost. His eyes are on the ball, and he has the presence of mind to keep control after losing balance.
Well, one of the young brigade at Geelong, a very promising young player, Paul Brown. He's back in form.
And Steve Handley here, very courageous effort here. Absolutely top mark.
Now, I've already sung the praises of Sean Wren. I don't reckon he really held that one, but it was paid.
Mark Micken, a well-timed launch and very sure hands.
Another exciting player coming up here. Look at this for eyes on the ball. Gavin Wanganeen, a terrific talent.
This is Michael Werner. It's another very gutsy mark this morning. It's not an easy keeping the eye on the ball and concentration all the while, particularly...
Well, that was Todd Ridley. That was just a real big grab.
And here's Big Tony here, too strong and great ball handling and judgment and control.
Now, this took courage, this next one. John Dorotich, look at this. Every footballer dreads this one. Back into the pack. He one-handed, probably could have been two, but...
Here's another terrific mark, sorry, Peter. Superb coordination here of the leap and the eyes on the ball. Just absolutely fantastic.
Well, some good marks there, right? I like Werner's one too. That took a lot of courage running back into that pack.
But I think you chose and I chose.
Well, we agreed on Todd Ridley. It was a very exciting mark. He came from the back. As you see, he gets the run, big leap. A talented player, Todd Ridley, and hugs it to his chest.
So Todd Ridley, the winner of the Mitsubishi Mark of the Week, and he joins some other names that have been having success in the Marks of the Week. And in more recent times, I think it's, here we go, Darren Jarman, Cavidan, Wanganeen, Roos and Dean. Don't forget that book, Just for Kicks. You can get
The long kick by David Minch from inside the square.
Unloads with a long one down to the square, shepherded it through for a goal.
And now the magical number 5 comes in. Now, I don't know whether I can... It is a beautiful goal.
You were going to say
Yeah, terrific effort by Matthew Liptak here, one of the really good players for the Adelaide Crows on Friday night.
And Minton Connell, who certainly had a feast. And this is a very good goal because he's got to get around and he makes a direct kick straight through, and it is a very nice goal from quite a distance.
Yeah. Next one of the quickest players in the competition, Peter Matera. Have a look at this, over 15. Breaks through and kicks the goal.
This fellow is not only quick, he is magical and he's a delight to see, and this is one of his great goals. Derek Kickett.
Well, he didn't have many touches yesterday, Derek Kickett, but what he did with tremendous excitement. Have a look at this. Again from about 45 metres and covers the players in the goal square quite easily.
One could say it's a judicious bounce, but he does the right thing with it, Ross Smith, and goes through from a very acute angle. Quite a nice goal.
That is a goal! What a great kick!
I feel St Kilda will be looking in the future for a lot from this young man, Tim Allen. Very talented player.
Hooks it back a goal, a great attempt, and what a top goal by Tim Allen.
And here's another do Kickett, but it is one in a St Kilda jump, and that is a magnificent goal right back over his shoulder. And Dale Kickett is also a great player.
Wayne Campbell, a fairly inexperienced player as far as AFL is concerned, but quite a very skillful left foot shot for goal there. And did very, very well.
And as an old half-forward flanker and a good runner myself, not perhaps doing it in this fashion, but to see Luke O'Sullivan go down and follow the ball and then put it through, a really magnificent effort.
And he really was a bit stiff when you think that G. Ablett kicked that big goal up in Sydney last week. And,
That's right.
But we made a decision and we gave it to Derek Kickett. His second goal yesterday was really something worthwhile having another look at. Spins out of trouble, then has a quick look at the fellow coming from the left, which was Waters, and kicks from, as I said before, 45 metres and puts it through quite convincingly.
And that reminds me of a magnificent goal kicker, Peter Purcell from Port Bunker, the peerless, prodigious punt kicker who pierced the perpendiculars with the pigskin to pinch the prelim and purloin the premiership pennant.
I'll have to have a shower after that, Bruce.
Oh, if Kickett joins Gale, Minch, Kemp, Kickett will take off. Bobby Davis's greatest hits will be on the program next week. That was very good, Bob.
Sounded like pulpit to me.
Now, we have to look at the leading goal kickers, Peter. You'll be interested in this. Dunstall on 91 and Lockett closing on 85. With Kernahan 51, Ablett 50, Longmire 45. Dunstall gets another crack today. Gentlemen, Footscray Geelong, the big match. Bobby Davis, we'll start with you.
I think that Geelong should just win the match.
Will Ablett play? Do you know anything?
Well, I think they will be playing, yes, Bruce.
OK, the other two games?
The other games, certainly Hawthorn should win, and I like Fitzroy also. And Teddy Whitten from Adidas said that he really picked Footscray, not Geelong.
Oh, he did,
It is in the paper.
OK, Robbo?
I think Footscray can bounce back. Scott Wind will play well, and so will Liberatore. I think Melbourne may cause the upset of the Sunday matches, and I think Hawthorn can beat Brisbane.
Peter?
Yes, Geelong Just, Hawthorn, and I think Melbourne might sneak up too, a roughie.
Tim?
I think Fitzroy will bounce back. Fitzroy, Hawks and Fitzroy.
And so Footscray, Fitzroy and the Hawks. And Ron?
I'm going the same as Tim, except not 2 lots of Fitzroy.
No, you're going for Footscray.
No, I'm going...
You're going for Geelong or
for Geelong.
Oh, Geelong, OK.
But there could be an upset.
OK. Could be an upset. I wonder where, Ron. We'll take a break and bye, gentlemen. We'll see you next week and Brooke returns